Hi, welcome to the channel. My name is Amy if you are new here, and on my channel I am working towards improvement. So in the year of 2022, I am focusing on my health and fitness along with my YouTube channel. So in today's video, I'm going to show you how to track your macros while cooking from home. So I am getting my macro and nutritional content from the packaging, but if you stick around till the end of the video, I'm going to show you some resources in case you don't have nutritional labels. Like this is cabbage. So what if you garden and you have your own cabbage? Well, there's a way to find out what the macros would be, and I'll show you how. To get started counting macros, what you will want is a scale that can weigh in grams because it's going to be the most accurate. And then I have all of the ingredients here that I'm going to use. And the recipe that I'm using is from Oh Snap Macros. She is taking Instagram by storm. I suggest you go and follow her. I will link her down below. She also does have a blog. The foods that she is posting is absolutely amazing. I have not tried the one that I am trying today. The recipe that I'm going to be making today is high protein egg roll in a bowl. I have not made this recipe before, but I will let you know how it is after we're done cooking. So to get started making our recipe, we want to ensure that we weigh our raw ingredients. So I have actually pre-cooked my ground turkey and put it in my freezer, which I just thawed. And when I did this, I actually weighed it raw and cooked just in case I used it for a different recipe. So I already have the weight of my turkey. I could not find water chestnuts that were chopped or sliced or anything at the store. So I had whole water chestnuts, which I then ended up chopping and weighing already. So that is done. And then I will have classic coleslaw that I will weigh, and then also another, broccoli slaw that I will weigh here. So before I get started, what I want to do is go ahead and weigh my pan with nothing in it. I have found it easiest for me to have a notebook right beside me so that I can just go ahead and write everything down. And then at the end, with all of my final product, I will weigh it again to see what it is, and then I will subtract the empty pan from the total amount of my cooked food. So to be a bit more prepared when I go to the stove, I'm gonna go ahead and get some of my ingredients weighed right now in this bowl that I know is going to be mixed up after I get the ground turkey on the stove. So my recipe calls for minced garlic, and I need 1 tablespoon of that. So ingredients are in grams while liquids will be in milliliters. So a tablespoon of minced garlic, 100 grams of broccoli slaw. So I'm gonna zero this out. What I just put in there, I'm gonna use scissors. Whoop. And I'm a little over, so 123 grams of that, that's fine. So next is coconut aminos. In the recipe she has 90 grams, but that's really not very accurate because every liquid is going to have a different density. And so I'm going to measure it as she calls in the recipe, and I will let you know how it turns out because it should be measured in milliliters. So let's see how it goes. She says 90 grams. That could be a lot. So to be as accurate as possible, I went ahead and zeroed out a little medicine cup and measured out 5 mils to determine how many grams the coconut liquid aminos would weigh. And what I determined is that the 5 mils serving size, which is on the back of the bottle, weighs 2 grams. So 90 grams is going to be a lot more calories than initially thought. 90 grams, right on the money. I'll show you what this looks like. Now that I got the first part of the recipe prepped and ready to go into the stove after I get done with the ground turkey, let's head over to the stove. So I'm seeing some discrepancy in her recipe. She had on the ingredients a 1/2 tablespoon of the sesame oil, but in the directions it was a 1/2 teaspoon of vegetable oil when you're done browning the turkey. So I'm gonna go with the 1/2 teaspoon just because I've never made this before and I'm really not sure how this is going to turn out if I were to use a 1/2 tablespoon. So we'll see how it goes. And on my measurements here, or my measuring spoons, it actually has the milliliters on here for 1/2 teaspoon. It's 2.5 mils. So that is actually what I'm going to write down for the sesame oil. Okay, now I'm going to take our weighed out ingredients that we just did and put them into the mixture. I grabbed a spatula because I felt like I was missing some of the food in here. While that is on the stove, I am going to weigh out the rest of our ingredients. So I'm going to zero out the scale with the bowl on it. And this time we need the cabbage, 150 grams of the cabbage, a little over, I went to 167, but I'll just write it down. Okay, then zero that out. I was initially thinking I was going to need all of the water chestnuts, but actually I only need 75 grams. Went slightly over at 82 grams, so I'm just going to write that down. Then we need a teaspoon of sriracha, and actually the sriracha serving size is 6 grams, which is a teaspoon. So what I'm going to do instead of dirtying a dish is zero out my scale, and I am just going to pour this or squirt it out until it gets to the 6 grams. And I went a little over 7 grams, not a problem, just write it down. Next is ginger, which is a 1/2 teaspoon, and spices for the most part should not have any nutritional content with them, so don't really need to weigh that. The recipe says salt and pepper, but she does not have it how much, so I'll probably just pour some in there when I get over to the stove. And that is it for the second part of the recipe. This is cooking down really good now. Okay, now I'm going to put in the weighed ingredients that we just did the second time. We're going to add in some salt and pepper. So now that we have our final product, I'm going to go ahead and weigh everything in here. So to protect my scale from the hot pan, I'm actually zeroing out a hot pad on there. And I get 1,903 as my total product. So my total product weighed 1,903, and then I would subtract the empty pan from that total to get the nutritional macros. So let's dive into our phones so I can show you on the app how this is going to look, created into a recipe and then divided out into the portion that you will eat. So one of the apps that I use in case I do not have a nutrition label is the nutrition app. So within this app, let's go ahead and search for cabbage just in case we didn't have that ingredient. So there's generic cabbage, cooked green cabbage. Let's just hit cabbage generic. And we can see that, wow, only 21 calories per serving, but there we go. It lists the macros, 1.1 of fat, 5 carbs, and 1.3 of protein. So the app that I use to track my food is the My Macros app. It's important to ensure that you are creating custom entries for the food ingredients that you're using. So I do know that I do not have coconut liquid aminos in here yet, so I'm going to go ahead and add that. I'm going to hit add custom food. We're going to type in coconut liquid aminos. The serving size is 15 mils. And then I'm going to go ahead and type in my macro content, leaving the calories blank, because the advantage of this app is that it will calculate the calories for me. So now we are going to create the recipe so we can determine our macros of our portion size. So we'll hit the plus button and hit recipes, create new recipe. We're going to give this a name. I just name it exactly what it is. High protein egg roll in a bowl. I also like to add the date of when I made the food, so it gives me an idea of how long it's been in the fridge. Our total servings is going to be the total amount that we weighed, subtract the empty pan, so 792. We're going to change serving to grams, and then we are going to add in all of the ingredients that we put into our custom ingredients. So we need the chestnuts, After you get all of your ingredients, you'll hit the back arrow and you will add in all the weights of the raw ingredients. So for the broccoli slaw, I had 123 grams. For the classic coleslaw, I had 167. So on and so forth until you get through all the ingredients. When I am ready to eat that recipe, I hit the plus button. You would hit recipes and you would find it in your list of recipes. Did I pass it? High protein egg roll in a bowl. And then I would just put in what my serving size is. So we're just going to do 300. So I can see that that's going to be 220 calories, 32 grams of protein, 13 carbs, and 4 of fat whenever I am ready to eat it. I know this seems like a lot of work, but do keep in mind that I have been counting my macros and creating these recipes for 2 months now. So if you're just starting out, take it slow, build up your tolerance to be able to do this. And if you made it this far in the video, please let me know how the lighting was and also the audio quality. I am trying to up my video quality and my YouTube in my YouTube videos for my channel, and I would love your constructive feedback. So leave a comment down below, and if you have any other questions regarding macros, also leave that comment down below. But otherwise, I will see you in next week's video.